Welcome back, another episode. In Masters of the Air, the portrayal of Bubbles' fate deviates from the known historical record, introducing an intriguing divergence from reality. This departure adds a layer of complexity to the narrative, prompting audiences to question the significance of this unusual change in the context of the overall story. Many members of the 100th Bomb Group, including Captain Joseph "Bubbles" Payne, meet sad ends during the Munster Raid in the 5th episode of Masters of the Air. Since his fate in the series differs from the historical story, why was it altered for the Apple TV show? From the beginning, Major Harry Crosby's best buddy and navigator in the 100th Bomb Group was introduced as Joseph Payne, also referred to as Bubbles. As Group Navigator, Bubbles had been safe throughout the series, but after Crosby finds a job, Bubbles embarks on a deadly mission. Bubbles did not survive the Munster Raid, despite the fact that Masters of the Air left many of its characters' fates unclear. The Royal Flush crew divulges which planes they witnessed go down and whether or not they observed parachutes during the mission debrief. Because of the commotion around them, the crews of most of the planes don't know anything. When it reaches Bubbles' plane, a soldier claims to have witnessed the plane explode without any parachutes falling out. In real life, Bubbles survived the Munster Raid. The fact that the real Captain Joseph Payne survived the Munster Raid is what makes the Masters of the Air's execution of Bubbles in Episode 5 so peculiar. Actually, Payne's participation in the Munster mission is undocumented. Bubbles did not die in Munster, despite the fact that Masters of the Air is correct that he was relegated back to lead navigator on the crew of Owen Cowboy Roan after holding the rank of 100th Navigator. It's true that Bubbles was killed in action, even though it wasn't as sudden as Masters of the Air made it seem. Bubbles was demoted from Group Navigator and resumed mission flying as the 100th's lead navigator. He led his squadron on multiple sorties, but when he was assigned to Colonel Robert Kelly's crew, his career came to an end. Kelly led the 100th Bomb Group for just 1 week after failing his first mission, according to the 100th Bomb Group Foundation. Kelly had taken over as flight leader and he had just finished his second trip over the mission's target when the crash happened. For the sake of story pacing, it appears likely that Captain Joseph "Bubbles" Payne was murdered off early by Masters of the Air. About halfway through the series, it's time to up the ante and heighten the sorrow. The fact that Major John "Bucky" Egan crashed in Germany in Episode 5, and that Gail "Buck" Cleven did not return from Bremen in Episode 4 both demonstrate this. Major Harry Crosby was probably intended to experience emotional distress over Bubbles' untimely death when he was stranded on the ground. Even though the adjustment was untrue historically, it was effective overall. For more, subscribe.